A few days ago, we heard the shocking news of the collapse of a giant sized billboard in Mumbai that led to the death of several people and to many people being injured. As news further came in, we learned that the billboard was illegal and that there had been several red flags raised about it, including the killing and poisoning of trees for greater visibility of this billboard. As shocking as it seems, this is not a solitary case or not the first time trees have been poisoned in Mumbai for greater billboard visibility. In fact, it turns out it is quite a prevalent practice. In this episode of Tree Talk, I'm going to be telling you more about that and what you can do as a citizen to stay aware to protect the trees around you. The collapse of this monstrous hoarding in Mumbai after a sudden gust of strong winds and rain swept the city on 13th May 2024 that killed several people was a terrible and tragic disaster. But this giant illegal hoarding was one amongst dozens and dozens of illegal hoardings that dot the landscape of Mumbai. Hoardings that pop up without any approvals and then go on to sign the death warrant for the city's trees. Check this news clip from 2021 where a banyan tree was killed for better visibility of advertisement hoardings at the Chowpatty signal in South Mumbai. Or sample this news from 2022 where it was pointed out that a palm tree was being poisoned for putting up illegal hoardings. Or here, where BMC officials of the garden department find 22 foxtail palm and 16 flame trees poisoned by chemicals being injected into them. Sample this other news piece from 2020 about a number of trees poisoned for the sake of hoardings. And every news article also mentions that the authorities were aware. So, what exactly is going on and what is the modus operandi? When a tree planted on the roadside to give you shade is seen as an obstruction for an advertisement billboard or hoarding, a plan is put in place to get it out of the way. Now, there are laws in place related to tree cutting and tree trimming for which permissions are required from the authorities. I will get to all that in a minute. But naturally, no permission can be expected for cutting or trimming trees to improve visibility of illegal hoardings. So, miscreants come up with an alternative strategy. What is done is the drill and fill method. First, holes are drilled into the trunk of the tree, usually at the back or base or near the roots where they can't be easily seen. Then herbicides containing a chemical called glyphosate, which are usually used to kill weeds in the farming sector, are injected through the hole. The dosage depends on the size of the tree, but apparently the herbicide is quite powerful and as little as 1 ml is said to be sufficient to kill a tree. As with any living organism, the tree tries fighting back, but ultimately the chemical overpowers its immunity and it begins to wither away. At times, acid is also used to speeden up the death of the tree. Or, as in this case in 2020, contractors get permission to trim trees for hoarding visibility, but actually use that license to cut down the tree entirely. This is a strategy builders and the land mafia have been using quite commonly for a long time to remove trees on the property they want to build over instead of going the route of obtaining permissions for cutting the tree. It is not as if this has not been pointed out to the authorities. A PIL was filed in the Bombay High Court nearly 2 decades ago by gynecologist Anahita Pandole regarding illegal hoardings. The issue is well known. The authorities are also well aware of what's going on, but most often nothing happens. For instance, see this report. When a problem is brought to the attention of the Mumbai Municipal Corporation, the Garden Department inquires and hands its findings over to the License Department for further inquiry. The license department then says they did not give the hoarding any license, but that the NOC was issued by the railways. Then the railways say they would look into the matter, but that they had not received any letter regarding cancellation of the billboard permission. And as for the police, there being no CCTV cameras, they say it is difficult to locate the offenders. And that is the end of that. To be fair, there are instances when action has been taken as well. For instance, this piece of news from a few years ago. The municipal corporation took action. The police did register an FIR. And while that is no doubt reassuring, it is worth also noting that this happened after they got orders from the very top. So all this was about what actually happens. But to prevent such things from happening in the future, what can you do as a concerned citizen? Now, if you notice this, what can you do? As I spoke about cases in Mumbai, I will focus on the law in Maharashtra, but you can look up similar laws in the state where you reside. So, in Maharashtra, there is a law called the Maharashtra Urban Areas Preservation of Trees Act 1975, which was passed specifically to preserve trees in urban areas and prevent their cutting or felling. Under the law, tree felling has been defined to include burning, cutting, or damaging the tree in any way. Under the law, the municipal authority of the particular urban area is required to set up a tree authority, which must meet once every 3 months, and the law sets out the duties which include preservation of trees and conducting tree surveys. Under Section 8 of this Act, no person can fell a tree without the approval of the tree authority. And Section 21 lists out the punishment if a tree is cut without the necessary approval. Consequently, if you notice such an instance, you can register a complaint with the police under Sections 8 and 21 of the Maharashtra Urban Areas Preservation of Trees Act. If you are in Mumbai, you can also file a complaint on the website of the Mumbai Municipal Corporation, where, as you can see here, the drop-down list includes complaints related to trees and further the various kinds of complaints related to trees. Now, I know you are likely to say that complaining to authorities leads nowhere and that you've tried this before and it's just a waste of time. I understand the frustration. But here are some more tips that you might find useful. Here is a list of organizations you can reach out to that work on conservation matters. I've added the list here and links in the description below the video. You can check the websites of these organizations. For example, here is a snapshot of the Conservation Action Trust's website, where you can get plenty of information on what you can do, how to file a complaint, where to send it, including sample drafts for writing out complaints. And note this, where they say, in case you wish to remain anonymous, please send us your complaint with details and photos and GPS readings if possible. We will do the needful. Also, have a look at this website, which tells the story of how the efforts of a group of concerned citizens is striving to save the trees of the iconic hanging gardens of Mumbai. Remember that all these cases where trees have been saved have happened because of concerned citizens, ordinary people like you and me who may not have the power to shake up the system, but we can do our bit to contribute in small ways. And of course, the first step in staying vigilant is being aware. Take an interest in the trees around you, outside your window, on your street, outside your office or your home. After all, they play such a crucial role in keeping us alive. Why not learn their names? Why not learn more about them? And if you'd like some help to start identifying trees, you'll find some episodes on this channel. If you like this episode, do share this with friends and subscribe to stay posted.